right, so today we're diving deep into AI superpowers.
Ooh, sounds intense.
It is, but super fascinating too. We're focusing on the US and China, using this book by Kai-Fu Lee called AI Superpowers.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
Have you read it?
I have. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It really is. And this Lee guy, he's not just some random expert. He's worked at Apple, Microsoft, Google, you name it.
Yeah, and then he goes and starts his own venture capital firm focused on Chinese tech. Talk about being in the thick of it.
Exactly. He's got this unique perspective bridging Silicon Valley and China's tech scene.
So one of the things that really struck me was how Lee talks about the impact of AlphaGo beating that Go champion, Lee Sedol.
Oh, yeah, that was huge,
Yeah.
especially in China.
Right. Over 280 million people watched those games.
Can you imagine?
I mean, I barely even remember it here. It was like a blip on the radar.
Totally different story in China. For them, it was like this Sputnik moment, like when the Soviets launched that satellite and America was like, whoa, we're falling behind.
Right, right. So this AlphaGo thing, it really lit a fire under China. Absolutely. They saw the potential of AI, and the government went all in, massive investments, national strategy, the whole 9 yards.
Wow, so not just hype then.
Nope. This was a strategic move.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Their approach is fundamentally different from how things work in Silicon Valley.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, Lee uses this analogy that I love, gladiator versus hacker.
I remember that. What was it like? China's the gladiator, all about brutal competition.
Exactly. Think of it like a coliseum, right?
Yeah.
Constant battles, rapid fire innovation, ruthless efficiency. They'll copy a good idea and make it even better, faster. It's all about results, whatever it takes.
Wow, that's intense. And Silicon Valley's the hacker.
Yeah, more focused on originality, idealism, elegance,
Yeah.
Breaking the code, pushing the boundaries.
Interesting. So you're saying that China's kind of like the pragmatist, just getting things done, and Silicon Valley is the dreamer, the visionary.
I think that's a pretty good way to put it. And it plays out in everything they do, not just AI.
Okay. Give me an example.
Okay, so there's this Chinese official named Guo Hong, right? He decides he wants to create a Silicon Valley of China in Beijing.
Ambitious.
And he goes about it in the most Chinese way possible. He literally builds this avenue of the entrepreneurs like overnight. They don't wait for it to happen organically. They just make it happen.
Wow, that's a totally different mindset, isn't it?
Totally. And it shows you how seriously they take this stuff. It's not a game. It's about national pride, economic dominance, the whole shebang.
So we've got these two contrasting approaches, right? The U.S. versus China. But what about real-world applications? Are there any examples that really highlight this difference?
Think about WeChat.
WeChat, isn't that just a messaging app?
It started that way,
Yep.
but it's evolved into this crazy super app. Like it's integrated into every aspect of Chinese life.
Really?
You can pay for stuff, hail a ride, order food, even schedule doctor's appointments, all through WeChat. It's wild.
Wow, that's like way beyond anything we have here.
Right. And it's a perfect example of how China's tech scene is all about this mobile-first online merge offline world.
Online merge offline. What's that?
It's like blurring the lines between the digital and physical worlds. Everything's connected, seamless, integrated. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. And it sounds like China's really ahead of the curve on this.
They are. And it's not just WeChat. They're doing amazing things in AI education, too.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more.
They're using AI to personalize learning, tailoring homework to each student's needs. It's like having a personalized tutor for every kid.
Wow, that's incredible. And here we are, still stuck in this old school factory model of education.
It's a stark contrast, for sure. But all of this innovation, all this progress, it requires serious brain power.
You're talking about the AI talent war.
Exactly. It's a global battle, and China's got a huge advantage. They've got this massive population, which means they've got access to an insane amount of data.
Data is the fuel for AI, right?
Exactly. And they're not as bogged down by privacy concerns, so they can move faster, experiment more freely.
I see. So they're playing catch-up, but they're catching up fast.
That's an understatement. Lee tells this story about Obama mistaking a Chinese speech recognition software for a human translator.
No way!
It just shows how far they've come in areas like speech recognition and natural language processing.
So China's on the rise. But how is this actually playing out in the business world? Like, are there companies that are using AI in really innovative ways?
Absolutely. We're seeing the rise of business AI, where companies are using AI to make themselves more efficient and profitable.
Okay, give me an example.
There's this company called Smart Finance in China. They're an AI-powered lending company. They're actually outperforming traditional banks.
Really? How are they doing that?
They're using AI to analyze data in ways that humans just can't. They're looking for what Lee calls weak features.
Weak features. What are those?
Think about it like this. A human loan officer might look at your credit score, your income, your employment history. Those are strong features.
Yeah, makes sense.
But AI can analyze thousands of data points, things that humans wouldn't even think to consider, like how fast you type when you fill out an online form, or the time of day you submit your application,
Wow, I never would have thought of that.
right? But these subtle patterns can actually be very predictive, and AI can pick up on them.
So AI is basically seeing things that we can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's giving companies like Smart Finance a real edge.
Okay, so we've got AI analyzing data, making loans. What else is happening in this business AI world?
Well, another critical piece of the puzzle is AI chips.
AI chips.
Yeah, these are specialized processors that are designed specifically for AI tasks.
So like the brains of the operation.
Exactly. And China is investing heavily in this area. They want to break Silicon Valley's dominance in chip manufacturing.
Why is that so important?
Well, for one thing, it's about economic competitiveness, but it's also about national security. They don't want to be dependent on the U.S. for this critical technology.
Right. So it's a high-stakes game.
It is. And the battle for AI chip supremacy is just getting started.
Okay, so we've got algorithms, we've got data, we've got chips. What about the impact on, like, real people? What about self-driving cars?
Self-driving cars are a great example of where we see these different approaches play out.
Okay, how so?
Well, you've got Google with their Waymo project. They're taking this very cautious, safety-first approach. They want to make sure their self-driving cars are absolutely perfect before they release them to the public.
Makes sense. You don't want a bunch of robot cars crashing all over the place.
Right. But then you've got Tesla. They're pushing their autonomous features to market much faster.
Yeah, they're all about that real-world data, even if it means taking on more risk.
Exactly. They believe that the best way to improve their AI is to get it out there in the real world, even if it makes mistakes along the way.
Interesting. So it's like two different philosophies of AI development.
It is, and it reflects a broader debate about the trade-offs between safety and innovation.
It's a tough question. But China isn't just thinking about individual cars. They're thinking about entire cities.
Right. They're building cities from scratch, designed specifically for autonomous vehicles.
Like what? Give me an example.
There's this place called Xiong'an New Area, south of Beijing. It's a planned city, and they're building underground traffic grids optimized for self-driving cars.
Underground traffic grids. That's crazy.
I know, right? It means the above-ground city can be quieter, more pedestrian-friendly, more livable.
It's a bold vision. It makes our infrastructure projects here in the U.S. look pretty pathetic.
Yeah, it's a pretty stark contrast. But all of this progress, all this innovation, it raises a big question. What about jobs?
That's the elephant in the room, isn't it? As AI automates more and more tasks, the potential for mass unemployment is a real concern.
Absolutely. And Lee talks about two types of job loss: one-to-one replacement and ground-up disruption.
Okay, so one-to-one replacement is the classic scenario. A robot takes over a human's job. But what's ground-up disruption?
Think about Smart Finance again. They've built this entire lending business without a single human loan officer.
Wow, so their entire business model is built around AI.
Exactly. That's ground-up disruption. It's not just about replacing existing jobs. It's about creating entirely new industries that don't require human workers at all.
That's a pretty scary thought.
It is. And as these AI-driven companies gain market share, they're going to force traditional businesses to adapt, which could lead to even more job losses.
So it's not just blue-collar jobs that are at risk. White-collar jobs are in danger too.
Absolutely. And this is where Moravec's paradox comes in.
Moravec's paradox. What's that?
It's this idea that it's actually easier to teach computers to do complex cognitive tasks than simple physical ones.
Really? That seems counterintuitive.
I know, right? But think about it. We can create AI that can beat a chess grandmaster, but we still struggle to create robots that can reliably fold laundry.
Interesting. So you're saying that those jobs that require dexterity, adaptability, real-world intelligence, those might actually be safer than white-collar jobs involving information processing.
Exactly. It's a bit of a mind bender, but it has huge implications for the future of work.
Okay, so we've got this potential for mass unemployment, and we've got this concentration of power in the hands of a few tech giants. What does that mean for the future?
Well, Lee argues that we could be heading towards a new kind of corporate oligarchy, where a handful of AI-powered companies control vast swaths of the economy.
That sounds a bit dystopian.
It does, doesn't it? But it's
Yeah.
a real possibility, and that's why it's so important to start thinking about solutions now. We need to find ways to mitigate job losses, promote human-machine collaboration, and ensure that the benefits of AI are shared broadly.
So what can we do? This all sounds pretty overwhelming.
Well, that's where Lee's personal journey comes in. After spending his life obsessed with AI and achieving incredible professional success, he was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh wow, that's heavy.
It was a wake-up call that forced him to reevaluate his priorities and find meaning beyond work.
And that's what we'll be exploring in part 2 of our deep dive. Last time, we were talking about how AI could lead to massive changes in the job market, and maybe even some serious power imbalances, like a corporate oligarchy even. It got pretty intense.
Yeah, heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Lee doesn't just leave us there all doom and gloom. He actually offers some solutions, ways we can navigate this whole AI revolution without, losing our humanity.
Okay, that's good to hear. So what does he suggest?
Well, he starts with this classic Silicon Valley playbook: reduce, retrain, redistribute.
Catchy. But what does that actually look like in the real world?
So reduce means like minimizing job losses through things like work sharing programs. Instead of laying people off, companies reduce everyone's hours.
Oh, right, like spreading the work around.
Exactly. Then retrain, that's all about equipping workers with the new skills they'll need in the AI age.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Just learn to code.
Yeah.
But it's not that simple, is it? Like, how do you even know what skills to teach when technology is changing so fast?
Totally. And there's a question of scale, right? Can we really retrain millions of people quickly enough to keep up with automation?
Good point. So retraining is important, but it's not a silver bullet. What about that redistribute part?
That's where universal basic income comes in.
The UBI, right? Giving everyone a guaranteed income, whether they work or not.
Yep. It's a pretty radical idea, but it's gaining traction.
I can see the appeal, but I also see the potential downsides. Like, wouldn't it discourage people from working? And could we even afford it?
It's totally valid concerns. Lee acknowledges that UBI is not a perfect solution, but he sees it as a potential safety net, something to help people stay afloat in a world where work is becoming more and more unpredictable.
Okay, so we've got reducing job losses, retraining workers, and maybe even providing a basic income. But what about the jobs themselves? Is there a way to make them more, AI resistant?
That's where this idea of human-machine symbiosis comes in.
Symbiosis, like working together.
Exactly. Lee uses this cool analogy of the centaur, half human, half horse.
Right.
He's saying we need to think of AI as a way to enhance our capabilities, not replace them.
So not humans versus machines, but humans and machines, like teaming up.
Exactly. Like imagine AI helping doctors diagnose diseases more accurately, or architects design buildings that are more energy efficient.
Or musicians composing symphonies.
Yeah, exactly. The possibilities are kind of endless.
Okay, so I'm getting this whole centaur thing. But who's going to pay for all these new jobs?
That's where impact investing comes in. It's like venture capital, but with a social conscience. You invest in businesses that are creating these human-centric jobs.
So not just about making money, but about making a difference.
Exactly. And Lee highlights specific sectors that are ripe for this kind of investment, like elder care, child care, mental health counseling.
Yeah, those are all fields where human connection is so important.
Right, exactly. And with an aging population and increasing stress levels, the demand for those services is only going to grow.
Okay, so we've got impact investing, human-machine collaboration. What about the government? Do they have a role to play in all this?
Lee argues that we can't just rely on the market to solve these problems. He thinks the government needs to step up, too, with policies that encourage job creation, provide safety nets, and make sure everyone benefits from AI, not just the tech elite.
So, like, what kind of policies are we talking about?
One idea he floats is a social investment stipend. Basically, you get rewarded for doing things that benefit society, like caregiving, community service, or education.
Interesting. So you get paid for making the world a better place.
Kind of. It's about valuing the things that often get overlooked in our market-driven economy, like empathy, compassion, community.
Right. It's like recognizing that there's more to life than just making money.
Exactly. And it connects back to something Lee learned from that volunteer driver he met at the Buddhist monastery.
Oh, yeah. The guy who chose to help others even though he didn't need the money.
Right. Lee sees him as embodying this important idea. We can redefine what it means to live a meaningful life. We can find purpose and fulfillment outside of traditional work.
Okay, so this is all getting pretty deep, but I like where it's going. It's like AI is giving us this opportunity to rethink our values, to prioritize the things that truly matter.
Exactly. It's not about being lazy or unproductive. It's about choosing to spend our time in ways that bring us joy, connect us with others, and make the world a better place.
I love that. So if AI frees us from the grind, what will we do with all that newfound freedom? Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. AI's potential to disrupt the job market, the possibility of it creating these huge power imbalances, even this idea of UBI. But what about the flip side? Could AI actually help us live better lives?
Well, that's what Lee really dives into in the last part of his book. He shifts from like the big picture stuff to his own personal journey, like how he went from being totally obsessed with AI to prioritizing, well, being human. Love, compassion, connection, all that good stuff.
Right. He talks about being this optimization algorithm, always focused on maximizing his output and minimizing anything that wasn't productive.
Exactly. And that kind of mindset can take a toll. He even admits that he was so caught up in his career that he almost missed the birth of his first child. Can you believe that?
You're kidding.
Nope. He was working at Apple at the time and had this big presentation for the CEO, John Scully. When his wife went into labor, he was actually torn between being there for her and going to the meeting.
Wow. That's pretty intense.
It is. It really shows how ambition and the pursuit of success can warp your priorities. And it took a life-altering event for Lee to realize what he was missing.
What happened?
He was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Suddenly, all those achievements, all those accolades, they just didn't matter anymore. He was facing his own mortality. It forced him to confront what was truly important in life.
I can imagine that's a pretty profound wake-up call.
Absolutely. And it changed everything for him. He started prioritizing his family, spending more time with his wife and daughters. He rediscovered the importance of human connection, of just being present.
It's like he finally let go of that relentless drive for success and started focusing on what really matters.
Exactly. And that shift had a huge impact on how he views AI and the future of work. He realized that we need to focus on the things that make us uniquely human. Love, compassion, empathy, creativity. Those are the things that AI can't replicate, at least not yet.
So it's not about rejecting AI. It's about finding a balance, using AI to enhance our humanity, not replace it.
Precisely. Lee's whole perspective on AI changed. It wasn't just about building smarter machines. It was about using technology to create a better world for humans. A world where we have more time for the things that matter. More time for love, for creativity, for connection.
It's a beautiful vision. And I think it resonates with a lot of people. We all crave more meaning in our lives. We want to feel connected to make a difference.
Exactly. And Lee believes that AI can help us do that. He argues that we need to shift our focus from purely economic pursuits to activities that bring us joy, purpose, and connection.
It's like that volunteer driver he met at the Buddhist monastery, the guy who chose to help others, even though he didn't need the money.
Right. Lee sees that guy as embodying a new way of being. A way of living where work is no longer the defining aspect of our lives. A way of living where we have the freedom to pursue our passions, connect with our communities, and make a positive impact.
So what can we do to create that kind of world? A world where AI actually helps us live better lives.
I think it starts with awareness. We need to be mindful of how we're developing and using this technology. We need to ask ourselves, is this serving humanity or is it just making a few people very rich? We need to be intentional about shaping the future of AI so that it benefits everyone.
That's a powerful message. And it's a conversation that we all need to be having. It's not just about the tech. It's about our values, our priorities, our vision for the future.
Well said. We can't just passively accept whatever the tech giants throw at us. We need to be active participants in shaping the future we want. A future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
I love that. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Kai-Fu Lee's AI superpowers, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners will walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the future of AI is not predetermined. It's up to us to shape it. We have a choice. We can let AI automate us out of existence, or we can use it to create a world where we're free to pursue our passions, connect with our communities, and make a positive impact.
It's a powerful choice, and it's one that we all need to make collectively. So let's keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts, your questions, your ideas. What kind of future do you want to create? Let's explore the possibilities together. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI superpowers.
Loved this video? Smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. And don't forget to order the book. Link below.